Hi, everybody. Welcome to Trial Alchemy. I'm Monty McIntyre, your host, and today I'm delighted to have with me as my guest Stephen Quattlebaum. And Stephen is an excellent ABOTA member and trial lawyer and the president of National ABOTA this year in 2023 as our guest. So let me tell you a little bit about Steve Quattlebaum. Steve has been practicing law since 1983. When he got his JD degree from the University of Arkansas School of Law. He does primarily defense work, but he has also tried a number of plaintiff's cases. He's tried approximately 80 jury trials as lead counsel, including cases dealing with products liability, toxic tort, environmental, breach of fiduciary duty, breach of contract, premises liability, copyright infringement, vehicle accident, and other cases. And he's also tried many non-jury trials. He's the current national president of the American Board of Trial Advocates and is completing a very successful year. And he was the Arkansas chapter president in 2004. And because he's serving as the president, he served in numerous other offices for National ABOTA. Steve's been listed in the Best Lawyers in America since 2001. He's currently recognized in the areas of bet the company litigation, commercial litigation, insurance law, mass tort litigation and class actions for defendants, personal injury litigation for defendants, and product liability litigation for defendants. So Steve, without any further ado, and I won't go through your entire very impressive resume, but thank you for being a guest today on Trial Alchemy. It's great to have you.
Well, thank you, Monty. It's a pleasure to be here.
But Steve, wouldn't you agree with me that in the art of trying jury trials, there's so many times when there's no one way to do things, and there's a variety of different approaches?
Oh, yeah, there's certainly a variety of approaches. And that goes to one of the things that we always teach when we're teaching young lawyers how to try cases, which is you have to be yourself. And so there are a lot of techniques out there that work really well for some people. Some don't work so well for others. And you have to find the techniques and then adjust and edit those techniques to fit your own style. And so that your credibility is, of course, the hallmark of a good trial lawyer. And if you're doing things and you're trying to adopt a particular technique of someone else and it doesn't fit you as an individual very well, it directly affects your credibility, and that's not good.
That is a terrible thing, and I'm glad you brought that up. Would you agree that credibility is awfully important in a trial setting?
When I was in law school, there was a lawyer here in Arkansas named Buddy Sutton. And Mr. Sutton was the dean of the defense bar in Arkansas. And he came to our law school and he talked to us about being trial lawyers. And his opening line was, there is one thing that is essential to a good trial lawyer, and it is credibility. That jury has to believe you. And if you are not honest with the jury, they will see it. They will know it immediately, and you will lose credibility. And if you ever lose credibility on one point, then it washes over to other points that you're trying to make in the trial. The jury just loses confidence and trust in you. So yes, credibility is vitally important to the skill set of a good trial lawyer.
Well, credibility of the trial lawyer is critical and key. But I think a good trial lawyer also tries to make sure you can't control this completely, but you got to make sure you've got a credible client, credible experts, credible witnesses, because if any of those people are not believable or have lied or something, that's going to be terrible for your case too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Obviously, your key witnesses in your case, that if you're on the defense side and that witness is the corporate representative of the company or the president of the company, some face or voice of the company, that person has to have great credibility. And if you're on the plaintiff side, the plaintiff it must be credible in order for the outcome of the case to be as good as it ought to be. You might still win, but if the client had been more credible, the outcome probably would have been better.
Yeah, it can make a big difference in dollars, depending upon how the client does on the plaintiff side. Now, you've tried cases in a number of different states,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
have you found that this critical importance of credibility for both the trial lawyer and other parties, is it the same everywhere you've tried a case?
The same. Here's what I would say about that. There are jurisdictions where there is a skepticism of one side or the other. In some jurisdictions, there's a dramatic skepticism of a corporate defendant, for example.
Mm-hmm.
In other jurisdictions, there is a profound skepticism of a plaintiff, because in some jurisdictions, there are members of the jury who are vocal and persuasive in the jury room, who come into the jury room thinking that plaintiffs are out to make money where they shouldn't. They're not out to get compensated, they're out to make money. And there are, in other jurisdictions, jurors who come into the jury room and are persuasive and influential in the jury room, who think that all big companies are bad. And so credibility, whether you're on the plaintiff side or defense side, is essential in all jurisdictions, but with some spectrum in there of where that credibility fits with that particular jury and that particular location. So I think it's a nuanced answer to that question. But there is an overarching element of credibility, no matter where you're trying the case.
And types different. You've tried a lot of different types of cases, and you have different juror or bias tendencies in different kinds of cases too. So sometimes I'm sure when you're representing some corporate defendants, either in a particular jurisdiction or other things, there may be some potential juror bias you have to deal with, or same thing on the plaintiff side, like you've just mentioned. So it's there everywhere. It just varies depending upon the issue or the parties or whatever.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Okay.
In some jurisdictions, personal injury cases are viewed with skepticism,
Right.
but business cases on the plaintiff side are not viewed with skepticism. In other jurisdictions, cases between two significant businesses are viewed with some degree of skepticism about, why are they taking up our time? They're so big and powerful, we shouldn't even be here.